What a game last night. The Golden State Warriors win a stunner but lose one of their biggest stars. The Warriors with a stunning come-from-behind victory, staying alive to fight for the title, but losing comeback superstar Kevin Durant to a devastating Achilles injury, and outrage as Raptors fans cheer in the stands while he lies on the court.
Also this morning, the deadly chopper crash in the heart of New York City. The new video showing a chopper flying erratically moments before a helicopter crash lands on the roof of a 54-story building, forcing workers to evacuate. The mangled mess and questions now growing. Why was the pilot flying in bad conditions?
Showdown in the Hawkeye State. Both President Trump and Joe Biden descending on Iowa this morning.
The amazing rescue caught on camera. 6 teens caught in a flash flood.
Hold on tight.
Trapped in a storm drain, one dragged half a mile under the city. The fire chief risking his life to save them.
Breaking overnight, baseball legend David Ortiz flown back to Boston after being targeted by that gunman. Now authorities searching for a second suspect, the latest on his condition.
ABC News exclusive, swept away. The young boy drifting to sea on a unicorn float.
And he doesn't really know how to swim.
The moment he's finally rescued, now his family is speaking out right here on GMA.
Let it go, let it go.
And can't hold it back anymore. The world exclusive premiere of the brand new Frozen 2 trailer. Just minutes away, only on GMA.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
You have to imagine that the Warriors have a lot of mixed emotions. Excited, of course, keeping the series alive, but then Kevin Durant going down again.
I mean, a great game, but with a devastating injury for Kevin Durant. It was his first game back, and he gets injured again. Even Warriors superfan Drake, he was upset. He put the rivalry to the side, and he comforted Durant as he left the court.
That was good to see. The Warriors, my Warriors, living to see another game. This was the scene outside Oracle Arena when they won. The series now heads back to Oakland, the final game that will ever be played there.
Oh, yeah, your Warriors, I love that. Okay, it was a dramatic game. Lots of drama coming down to the final shot. TJ Holmes there for it all. He's up early there in Toronto. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning to you, Robin. And this was a thrilling, gutsy win for these Golden State Warriors. You hear me? They won. But after the game, members of the Warriors organization were literally in tears of sadness because Kevin Durant, who had fought his way back from injury and was making a comeback to try to help save his Warriors championship hopes, he goes down with what may be a worse injury than his original injury. And this left this entire arena stunned in a moment that for many was heartbreaking to see.
It was a gut-wrenching sight that stunned players and fans alike. Kevin Durant, who hadn't played in a month because of a leg injury, went down again early in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, grabbing that same injured leg.
And there's the play right away. He knew it.
Coming into the game, intrigue and hope surrounded the Warriors. Just hours before the game, word came that Durant would make a return and try to dig the Warriors out of a 3-1 series deficit. He came out true to form, making his first 3 three-pointers, was active on defense, even jawed with Raptors guard Fred VanVleet. But in the second quarter, on a move to the basket, Durant appeared to re-injure his leg. Many in the Toronto crowd immediately cheered his injury. Several Raptors players offered Durant their support, and they also gestured to the crowd to cut it out. The crowd eventually chanted KD as he was helped off the floor. Warriors players were noticeably shaken, seeing Durant go down again. Steph Curry followed Durant to the tunnel to give support.
We know how hard it is and how hard it's going to be to come back, and we gave ourselves a chance. So Game 6 is going to be fun.
And the Warriors president of basketball operations was emotional addressing the KD injury.
Kevin had it's an Achilles injury. I don't know the extent of it. He'll have an MRI tomorrow.
After Durant went down, the Warriors regrouped. In a drama-filled night in Toronto, they fought like champions. They were ahead by 14 at one point, but found themselves down by 6 with just minutes to play. But Steph Curry and Klay Thompson made back-to-back-to-back three-pointers, and the Warriors denied Toronto a last-second shot victory and denied Toronto fans a chance to celebrate their team's first ever NBA title for now.
There will be, of course, some second guessing and some questions about if Kevin Durant should have been cleared to play at all. He had only gone through one practice the day before he got out there and gave it a go last night, and he looked good. But they're saying this injury is different from the original calf injury. They're saying this is now an Achilles injury, and if this is an Achilles, this could be more than just a championship they could be losing out on. Durant could be out for a considerable amount of time, including into next season, depending on the extent of an Achilles injury. These take some time to come back from. He gave it a go last night. A lot of respect to him. He put his body on the line, guys.
He certainly did. He certainly did. And so this leads to the final game ever that's going to be played there in Oracle. Now, TJ, we've seen this, the prices skyrocket for the last two games that were there. What do they look like now?
Yeah, games 3 and 4. Remember, somebody paid $93,000 for 2 tickets to game 3, $101,000 for 2 tickets to game 4. So now they know this is going to be the last Warriors game in Oracle. If you want to use that as your baseline, you can see these things going even higher.
I know. You'll be there. You'll be there. And you know what's free?
Yes, I will.
You can watch Game 6 right here on ABC. doesn't cost you a nickel.
That's a bargain.
8:30 Eastern here on ABC on Thursday. It's going to be a heck of a game.
All right, and we're going to turn now to the investigation into that deadly helicopter crash right here in New York City. The chopper slamming down on the top of a building right in the middle of Manhattan, killing the pilot on board. Take a look at the scene on that roof. You can barely make out the chopper in the wreckage. ABC's Gio Benitez is there outside the building with the latest. Good morning, Gio.
Michael, good morning to you. Yeah, the weather at the time was a lot like it is right now, rainy and foggy. So this morning, the big question for investigators, why was that helicopter in the air at all?
This morning, NTSB investigators are working to understand how a helicopter ended up in flames at the top of a New York City high-rise.
We felt the building shake, and then all of a sudden we saw the debris falling off the side. I thought a plane hit the building.
The chopper had taken off from the East River helipad at 1:32 p.m. This video shows a helicopter flying in the area just minutes later, at times erratically. Officials can't say definitively whether it's the doomed flight. Moments later, at 1:43, the deadly crash. These photos showing the wreckage, very little was left behind. Nathan Hutton was on the 29th floor.
Only way I can describe it is like someone standing next to you and they give you a hard shove, and then you kind of like, whoa, what's that?
They rushed down the stairs.
What's going through your mind at that point? What are you thinking?
Everything was somewhat anxious and jittery in the staircase, but now we're in the lobby and this ain't a run.
Officials say there are no signs of terrorism, but that's where many minds went.
If you're a New Yorker, you have a level of PTSD, right, from 9/11. So as soon as you hear an aircraft hit a building, I think my mind goes where every New Yorker's mind goes.
The chopper was flying in FAA-restricted airspace within a mile of Trump Tower. The pilot, the only fatality and only person on board, identified as Tim McCormick, a volunteer firefighter seen here on his Facebook page posing with that chopper. He spoke to WABC in 2014 after a bird hit his windshield.
A little bit of, pandemonium kind of thing. You kind of gather yourself.
Those who knew him say he was a very experienced pilot, but this morning, no word on how he ended up crash landing on the top of a building or why he was flying the chopper in such rainy and foggy weather.
And incredibly, here on the ground, no injuries. In that building behind me, no injuries. I can tell you, though, if that chopper had crashed here on these busy streets near Times Square, we would be having a very different discussion this morning, Cecilia.
You hate to think about what could have happened. Okay, Gio, thank you. We're going to turn now to Washington. After weeks of negotiations, a major shift by the Justice Department. Officials there agreeing to hand over to Congress key evidence found in special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran joins us from the White House. So, Terry, what exactly do we know about this material that's being turned over?
Well, Cecilia, this is some of the most crucial material that the Judiciary Committee has wanted to see on the issue of obstruction of justice. This is material not in the Mueller report. It's investigators' notes and interview transcripts, internal documents from the investigation itself. And it says a couple of things. First, Congress does hold some cards in this confrontation with the executive branch, President Trump. And second, the executive branch, the White House, doesn't see a lot to worry about from this investigation at this point, but don't think this is going to make for peace between the two of them. Today, the House will vote to authorize a lawsuit, if necessary, to get more material.
And that's right, Terry. Thank you. And the race for 2020 is heating up. All eyes on Iowa today, where both President Trump and Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden will both be holding dueling campaign events.
That's right, Iowa at the political crossroads, as it so often is. This is the framing Joe Biden wants. Democrats have been saying, where is he? Well, now he's in Iowa with President Trump. Biden versus Trump, that's the conversation he wants to have. And Joe Biden will take on the criticism that his campaign is really just a return to the past. Both President Trump and Democrats are saying that. Biden will say, I gather some people think it's a return to the past. I don't see it that way, he'll say. I see it as embracing enduring American values that have made America, America. So that's his answer to the question that he's just a rerun. He says, for me, it's the only way America is going to have a future. Cecilia?
He's expecting to hit the president pretty hard there. Okay, Terry, thank you. Robin?
It'll be quite a day in Iowa today. All right, now to the new report this morning about the North Korean dictator's assassinated half-brother, alleging he was a CIA source. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, has the latest on all that. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. The Wall Street Journal said Kim Jong-nam met on several occasions with CIA operatives. This could help explain why Kim Jong-un's older brother was killed 2 years ago in that brazen move in the international airport in Malaysia, which was all caught on surveillance video. 2 young women smearing VX nerve agent on Kim Jong-nam's face. He died a short time later. Lawyers say the women were unwitting pawns in a political assassination. Officials believe Kim Jong-un is responsible for his brother's death. Washington Post bureau chief Anna Fifield, in a book released today, says that Kim Jong-nam usually met his handlers in Malaysia or Singapore. She said that inside the backpack he was carrying when he was killed was $120,000 in cash that could have been payment for his intelligence information or earnings from his gambling business. Much remains unclear about his relationship with the CIA. And as you can imagine, Michael, the CIA has no comment this morning.
All right, as expected. All right, thank you so much, Martha. Now to a major breach of Customs and Border Protection data, raising serious privacy questions. The agency revealing that tens of thousands of images of travelers and license plates have been stolen in a malicious cyber attack. Our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, has more. Good morning, Pierre.
Michael, good morning. New concerns today over privacy and facial recognition technology after that breach involving Customs and Border Protection. The agency quietly collects images of license plates and photographs of travelers crossing the borders. And now word that information has been stolen in what Customs is calling a malicious cyber attack. Customs and Border Protection says a contractor violated security rules by transferring and storing the collected information on a private network. The contractor, which has not been identified, was then hacked. According to the agency, so far none of this information has shown up on the dark web or internet, but very unnerving to know that so much information about all of us is out there and vulnerable, Cecilia.
Unnerving indeed. Okay, Pierre Thomas, thank you. We'll turn now to that new heat threat out west. Record-breaking temperatures hitting the coast. There are heat warnings and advisories from Arizona to Washington today. Ginger's here tracking it all. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Cecilia, I know you're from the Bay Area, but did you know that San Francisco Airport has never seen a 100-degree temperature or higher in June, July, or August? Until yesterday. Yes, they did it. Daily records broke all over. They usually reserve those for September, but now we're seeing numbers like Monterey at 97. Oceanside, that is on the side of the ocean, should not be that warm. 85 was their daily record, and that was just one of the days. We've got another very hot day today and tomorrow. That's why you have those excessive heat warnings from Arizona right through Southern California. Look at Portland today to 97. A quick look at what's coming water-wise. This is the Catawba River in western North Carolina. Dozens of rescues. They're now drying out. Robin.
Okay, Ginger, thank you. We have an incredible rescue in Ohio. 6 teens caught in a flash flood, some getting stuck in a storm drain. Janae Norman is here with that story for us. Good morning, Janae.
Robin, good morning. So at first it was just one teen who was swept away by floodwaters, but eventually all 6 between the ages of 13 and 15 needed help. And that water was nearly 3 feet high from a heavy downpour when the fire chief went in to try to save them.
This is the moment rescuers saved 3 of 6 teenage boys from rushing waters in northern Ohio.
Got it. Hold on tight.
The 6 teens were playing in a creek when flash floodwaters forced one of them into a storm drain.
Well, I think one of them got swept in, and then the rest of them said, they tried to help.
The fire chief soaked from head to toe after jumping into those same floodwaters to save the teens, as the other 5 also ended up caught in the current trying to save their friend.
They kind of linked arms to try to get them out, and then a couple more got swept in.
The water carried one of the teens a half-mile underground, while another was able to escape and call police. You can see officers' body cam video capturing some of the rescues. 2 boys able to hold on to a cement wall as first responders spring into action.
How many of you are right there?
Police throwing a rope and life preserver down.
All right, hey. Take a deep breath, man.
Pulling 3 boys to safety while the other 2 were rescued farther downstream.
And a police lieutenant said pulling those teens through that floodwaters felt like pulling a Mack truck. So they had to do a lot of work to get those kids out.
Scary.
They did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Janae.
All right, thank you, Janae. And now to another apparent shark attack in the waters off North Carolina. Just a week after a young girl lost most of her leg, a 19-year-old has been bitten on the foot. Well, now he's speaking out from his hospital bed. And ABC's Ariel Reshef has the story. Good morning, Ariel.
Hey, good morning to you, Michael. That teen says he's been surfing for about 7 years and has never seen a shark in the water. But all that changed Monday when he felt sharp teeth sink into his foot.
This morning, the victim in the second apparent shark attack off the coast of North Carolina in just a week, speaking out from the hospital.
I just felt something grab onto my leg. And I was like, oh my gosh. I told my friend, oh my gosh, I think he's got bit by a shark.
19-year-old Austin Reed surfing Monday when he says a shark suddenly took hold, quickly letting go, but not before leaving its mark.
I have reported a possible shark bite. 19-year-old male conscious and breathing at this time.
The teenager emerging from the water, his foot bloodied, rushed to the hospital, speaking to us just before undergoing surgery.
It was just bite marks. You can see some bones in my foot. So it got me pretty good.
He said, yo, I got bit by a shark, and Austin was wanting to goof around a lot, so Tyler thought he was just kidding. And then he looked at his foot and realized he wasn't.
The dangerous encounter coming just days after a separate incident, 3 hours up the North Carolina coast. 17-year-old Paige Winter losing her leg in that attack.
Is she awake and breathing?
If she is, she's barely. She's in bad shape. I mean, her leg is almost gone.
Paige's father managing to punch the shark on the head 5 times, freeing his daughter, saving her life. Wildlife officials warning shark sightings are up. The U.S. averages about 19 shark attacks each year, but experts say that nearly doubled in 2018.
And scientists say that uptick may be due in part to warmer water and more fish for those sharks to feed on. As for Austin, it turns out, guys, his mom is an ER nurse who applied first aid to that injury right when he got on the beach. He's going to be just fine. Says he'll get back on the water soon.
Glad he's going to be fine, Ariel. Thank you. We're following a lot of other headlines this morning, including the latest on David Ortiz, now in a hospital back here in the U.S. What his family is saying next.
And that summer beach warning, a little boy swept out to sea on a unicorn raft. He's now telling his story only on GMA. But first, let's go back over to Ginger.
And I've got a stunning dust devil to show you in Central City, Iowa, but I'm going to have to leave you right there because we've got to get to your Tuesday trivia, sponsored by Amazon Echo.
Look, Grandpa, I got you the Echo Show. You can ask it to play music or check the weather. Valerie, Alexa, at 6 p.m., remind Grandpa your favorite desserts in the fridge.
Okay, I'll set a reminder.
Alexa, play the song that goes Valerie.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water.
Grab the sunglasses heading out the door. It's going to be a beautiful day with clouds decreasing after the overnight rain. Breezy, the high today 80. Winds could be gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour. And then it's increasing clouds tomorrow. The high 78 will be up to 80 degrees on Thursday with some morning rain ending around 8 a.m. and then another wave for the afternoon. Friday right now looking dry and most of this weekend pretty nice. A little bit of heat for dads on Sunday. The high close to 90 degrees.
For all the folks on the West Coast, a little tip from Millie. Just do this. Get a little popsicle. Yes, Millie loves it. That's how you stay cool, okay?
Yummy. Thanks, Ginger. We'll be right back.
Nothing.
Hello,
darkness, my old
More details incoming involving Volkswagen and the growing scandal.
Dissatisfied customers filing complaints against the German automaker.
Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I